Ryan, what is your job and how long have you been doing it for?
My job is I'm a real estate investor. I have been full-time investing in real estate for the last 5 years officially.
Got it. What's the key to starting in real estate without a huge upfront cost?
The key for me was finding something that would help me earn cash that I could turn around and invest in real estate. And the way that I did that was I started wholesaling real estate. And that was giving me the ability to earn large sums of cash with assignment fees that I could turn around and invest in buying rental properties.
Got it. What's a key factor that helps you succeed now, 5 years in?
The biggest key factor 5 years in is consistency. And it's been a lesson that I've had to learn several times. Several times we would get a point where we'd have a lot of momentum and I'd get comfortable and kind of let off the pedal. And then I'd quickly learn, like, shoot, I have to keep doing this regularly in order for the sustainability to be there. If I want it to give me the ability to get out of my 9 to 5, I have to make sure that it's regular, that it comes in consistently, that even the deals that I'm wholesaling, making sure that I send postcards every week regularly without pause. Otherwise, it's just you have to basically restart every time. So, the biggest thing that I've learned over the course of 5 years is just stay consistent with your form of marketing. Just stay consistent. Continue to do it.
How do you know when you're wasting money on marketing versus when you just need to be consistent on marketing?
I would say the biggest thing is make sure that you do one thing long enough to know whether you're wasting money or not. To me, there's so many when I started doing this, there was so many things people were doing. They were sending texts, they were doing cold calls, they were doing direct mail, they were doing Facebook ads. And when I started, what worked for me was going out and driving for dollars and sending direct mail. And I continued to do that and the leads kept coming in. Every time I would step out of that world and stop sending mail and start doing something else, I would never stick with it long enough. And so that's where I started wasting money. I started wasting money doing things that weren't working as well as the direct mail. And so every time I would deviate away from the plan, I would end up coming right back to the plan and getting right back to doing direct mail.
So you said make sure you do it enough. How did you know what enough was? Because sometimes people will tell me, "Oh, this isn't working for me," and I'll look and they've contacted 10 property owners, and that's not enough.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, it was something that I was told from the very beginning is going out every week and adding 250 driving for dollars leads. So I just was following the instructions that I was given from the wholesaling challenge that we signed up for. And then it was just a measure of make sure you're doing it consistently. From then, when I would try other things, I would send as many texts as I was sending postcards, but it just wasn't giving me any kind of result. And I would do the same thing with cold calls. I would do as many cold calls as I was doing postcards, but not getting the same result. So it was like one of those realizations of in order for me to get the same results, I'm going to have to do 3 to 4 times the quantity to get the result that I'm getting with direct mail. And I didn't have the time for that. So I just wanted to go back to doing what I was doing.
Got it. So you took a challenge, and that was what told you how many types of mail or phone calls you needed to make. So that's what gave you the guidance to go ahead and keep doing it. And it wasn't very long though until you actually got a deal, right? You found
Yeah.
one in like 17 days.
Yeah. It's 14 days I had my first deal wrapped up. So, and then from there, it was like they started coming in stacks.
How did you know it was a deal, by the way? Because I know there's probably a lot of properties listed for sale, and it wasn't one of those, right? It was. How did
No.
you know this one was a deal?
I knew this was a deal because the seller was willing to sell it for a very, very deep discount. And so I knew that getting it at the price point that I had it under contract for, there was definitely enough margin to put this out for sale. And it was pretty showing that when we did put it out, we put it out on Facebook Marketplace, we were getting tons of phone calls really quickly. So I knew this is a good deal. I've got it at the right price. There's several people interested, and we had an offer in the first 3 days. So,
Well, how did you know it was a good price? How did you know what a good price was for this property?
I was unsure. I mean, I was new. This was the very first thing I was doing. So I can't say I knew anything. I didn't know anything. I was simply following a formula. And even the formula, I didn't have great confidence in running a construction cost on a rehab property. I knew that I was getting a property for $8,000. I knew that I was selling the property for $18,000. And I knew that anybody that's buying a house that cheap, there's enough margin for error.
Got it. Well, it was really awesome to hear your success story, of course, but we also talked with one of your students, Elena, and she had closed her first deal for $5,000. And it's kind of funny. She had the same situation as you where, well, you actually quit your job. And then she said she knew a layoff was coming, right? So you both had like created this urgency to take a lot of action. And I know that's why you both have been successful. So wanted to give you guys, I hope it's okay. Can I plug that on the podcast?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, DealFlowAcademy.com, www.DealFlowAcademy.com, or Ryan's Instagram is Heritage Home Investments. So message him if you guys are curious about his mentorship. And thanks, man. Appreciate you answering those questions.
Anytime.
Thanks for listening to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.